last time on our owl pictures, I showed you how to create movement in the sky using broken lines with warm and cool colors. So today I'm going to show you how to fill in the remaining spaces with your marker or watercolor paints. Alright, so let's get started. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to get some markers or watercolors. And when I'm doing my markers, I am going to do blue, purple, depending which kind of markers you have, which colors are available to you. I've got blue, purple, and green. I'm going to stick with the cool colors. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of go in between my blues, my purples, and the more you do this, the more of these lines you put in, the neater it's going to be in the end. I'm still using broken lines. This time it's okay with me if you let some of these lines touch. And it's even okay if you go in between some of your warm colored lines. Switch to this color for a while. Now the nice thing is once you've used crayon, if you've pushed hard enough, this will not cover them up completely. You might even see that happening. Sometimes I accidentally color on top of those other lines, and I'm not letting that worry me. Ooh, let's do some purple now. You don't have to do it everywhere. Decide where you want your purples to go or your blues to go, and just choose a few places to kind of put them in there. I don't want you to do solid lines. It needs to be broken lines. And that will help create that sense of movement that we're trying to get in our picture. Ooh, I don't have any marker down here in this corner. Now, if you have watercolor, you won't need to do this with marker. You can, but you don't have to. So now that I have a lot of marker lines on here, oops, I didn't get any green. Better get some green on here. All right, now that I have some marker lines on my paper, I am going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to just start putting water on there. And what's happening, because I was using water-based markers, that the colors are spreading. It's almost turning into a watercolor all by itself. Now, if you have watercolors, you would just take your cool and your warm colors and fill in the space. The only place we do not want to add paint to today is our owl. So I'm going to try to be very careful. When I get up by the owl, I sometimes like to just do really slow. The neat thing about the crayon is it has wax in it, and so anywhere there's crayon, it's resisting the water and the ink that's there, because water and wax do not like each other. They're resisting being next to one another. I'm trying not to let there be too much water on my paper. If it gets too wet, it will go in places I don't want it to. But I'm trying to get the whole thing filled in. I like to kind of work around my paper. Now, if you don't have a paintbrush at home, but you do have markers and you're thinking to yourself, how can I do this without a paintbrush? Well, if you don't have a paintbrush, you can use a cotton swab, like a Q-tip, to fill the whole thing. Now, the more lines you add with the marker, the brighter and darker your sky will be. If you have less lines, it will be lighter. The thing is, once this is wet with water, you cannot go back and add lines until the paper is dry. So we will need to let this dry in a place where it can dry flat and not be bothered falling down. I think this looks great. I had a lot of fun making this with you today. If you're at home doing this, you can send me a picture on Seesaw, of course, but also send me a picture of it on Artsonia so that it can stay in your digital portfolio. Students at school, we're going to load this to Artsonia once it's dry. So today we're just going to let it dry, and then we'll see if next time we can load it to Artsonia. All right, I hope you've had fun doing this with me today. Remember, if you don't have markers or watercolors, you can do this with just crayons too. So I hope you've had fun. I'll see you next time. Bye.